Hello friends and welcome to this session for GATE and ESC Electrical Engineering. My friend, this session is going to be one of the most awesome session and you are going to really learn something very new and something that will help you in the exam. In the exam for GATE, may it be 2021 or it may be 2022. Now, before we start the lecture, my friend, let me introduce you myself. My name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR 1 in GATE 2014 and GATE 2018. And my friend, I was also awarded the President of India Gold Medal by the President himself in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Presently, I am working as a director at an academy for GATE department, and that is why constantly I am able to bring new and more initiatives for you. Because an academy is not an institute. An academy is not a coaching. An academy is more of a revolution. An academy is more of a feeling. An academy has everything right that is wrong with every other coaching institute in the country. The name An Academy, my friend, has been comprised of two words, un and academy. That means it has everything that is not there in an academy. So an academy cares about the student in the best way possible. It cares about the student most than or more than any other person can. All the initiatives are centered on the student. That is, they are always working towards the student welfare. And that is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system. That is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system free of cost on our YouTube channel. So my friend, if you are visiting this channel for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed, because we have electrical machine, power electronics, power system, communication system, EMT, EDC, network, signal, control, digital, everything is here on this channel, that too free of cost, my friend. But what has An Academy done? An Academy has brought a revolution in the country where they are providing the most affordable education, and that too free of that too at the most affordable price, as well as free of cost on YouTube. So my friend, if you want to be a part of the revolution that An Academy has created by means of the courses that are running on An Academy, where they are bringing you the best ever educators of the country on a single platform. That is, you, my friend, can be able to learn from India's top educator at the cheapest or at the most affordable prices possible. At the most affordable prices possible. Now, my friend, I'm talking to you. You can dare to dream. You can dare to enter a PSU. You can dare to dream about MTech from an IIT. Why? Because An Academy has made it possible. An Academy has done everything that is required to get the best rank in GATE examination. So my friend, if you want to join An Academy, make sure that you use the code Ankit ESE, because the door to An Academy opens with this code, and this directly makes me your mentor so that I can guide you at each and every step regarding your GATE preparation. And not only this, you will also get 10% discount on your subscription. Now, what does An Academy bring for you? Not only the live classes. The live classes are the best part of An Academy, where you can interact with the educator, ask your doubt, and make sure that you understand each and every concept and then only exit the class. But other than that, you get dedicated doubt session, where you can post a pic of a question and ask any doubt, any number of doubts. Then you have weekly quizzes. Every Sunday we test how much you have understood. Then there are daily practice paper which we provide you for practice. Then there are practice questions from An Academy. Then there are test series from An Academy. Then there is crash course, where we will boost your rank in the last few months. There is rank improvement batch for the students who have already done well in the GATE examination. Now, my friend, all of this just with one subscription fees, where you don't have to pay anything again and again or anything extra. That is the magic of An Academy. Just join An Academy without thinking too much.
Hi guys, in the last lecture we covered underground cables. We saw what is the construction of underground cable, what is the resistance of the UG cable, what is the capacitance, and what are the various kind of losses. But the one factor that differentiates the underground cable and the overhead lines is that overhead line conductors are bare and open to atmosphere, whereas underground cable conductors are always shielded by the insulator coating. So, in case of overhead lines, we used to hang the lines on the towers. But towers are metallic structures, so they are conducting. But we do not want any current to flow from the line to the ground through the tower. That is why we need an insulator between the tower and the transmission line so that no current can flow into the ground. Such insulators are called as overhead insulators, and how they are placed is, suppose this is a tower, this is the cross arm of the tower, there will be insulator, then there will be line, so that current cannot flow from this line to the ground because this tower will be grounded. Okay, so these are called as overhead line insulators or overhead insulators. This is your called as cross arm. Okay, now usually, as we know, for voltage rating greater than 345 kV, insulation level will be decided based on switching over voltage, whereas for voltage less than 345 kV, insulation level will be decided on the basis of lightning over voltage. That will decide how many number of insulators you require between the tower and the transmission line to reduce the leakage current from the line to the ground. Now, what are the properties of the insulators? Properties will remain same as that of UG cable. But as you can see in the figure, here the insulator will have to bear the weight of the transmission line. So, it must have high mechanical strength. Otherwise, it can break down under the weight of the transmission line. What are the materials that we can use is? We can use porcelain, we can use toughened glass. Toughened glass is glass which has a high mechanical strength. We can use epoxy resin, or we can use magnesium silicate. These are the four materials that we generally use to construct the overhead line insulator. Now there are various construction of the overhead line insulator. First is called as pin type insulator. Pin type insulator is shown here. This structure here is called as groove. This is given here so that transmission line can be placed or passed through this groove like this. Okay, and these structures are called as shell, and this is placed on the cross arm of the tower with the help of a pin. That is why it is called as pin type of insulator. Okay, this is my cross arm. Now as you can see from the figure, the top disc or the top shell has higher radius as compared to the bottom shell. Why is it? So that if rain is falling, suppose, then it will affect only the top shell and the bottom shell will be protected. That is why top shell will always have a higher radii as compared to the bottom shell. So these sort of insulators can be used at less than equal to 33 kV. Because if you keep on increasing the voltage, then we have to increase the number of shells. And as you increase the number of shells, the stress on this pin will increase and the insulator will be mechanically unstable. You won't be able to place it comfortably on the tower cross arm. There are chances that it will break down. Okay. So these are uneconomical or they become bulky for voltage greater than 33 kV. So you can easily see them in case of single phase 2-wire line. These are easily visible. Okay. In your surroundings, if you observe, most of the insulators are this type only. Now what to do in case we want to use it at a higher voltage? Then we go for suspension type of insulator. This insulator will be suspended at the horizontal cross arm of the tower, and here we will pass the transmission line. Now if you see, it consists of various structures which are connected by metal link. This is your metal link. And the structures which are connected by metal links are called as disc. So there are multiple insulator discs, each of them is connected to each other by a metal link. This is called a suspension type of insulator. The advantage that we get here is, if one of the discs get damaged, the whole unit is not damaged. You can easily replace that disc by another disc. So here it is more reliable. Plus, if you want to increase the rating or the voltage rating, you can directly increase the number of discs. So here N refers to the number of discs. If you increase the number of discs, you can increase the voltage rating. But in case of pin type of insulator, to increase the number of shells, you will have to remanufacture the insulator, because shells are fixed there and they are made at the time of manufacturing. They are not connected to each other. It is like that only at the time of manufacturing. So that's why if one of the shells get damaged, you have to remanufacture or replace the entire unit. So they are less reliable. Okay. So that is the advantage of a suspension type insulator. It is just an extension of the pin type insulator at higher voltage. Next is called as shackle type of insulator. So why does this shackle type of insulator is used? Suppose we have a road that is going like this. So one tower is there, one is here. If transmission line is coming like this and it has to go like this, then if we directly connect it, there will be a sharp turn, and due to this sharp turn, here area will be less, due to which current density will be more, due to which electric field will be higher. So we will say that it is overstressed due to high electric field. So we do not want any sharp turn in the case of transmission line. What we do is, we use shackle type insulator on both these towers like this. Okay, and the transmission line on both the towers will be connected by means of a jumper. Now since they are connected by a jumper, there is no sharp turn in the transmission line and there is no high electric field induced in the line. So that is how we can avoid increasing the tension or the electric field in the transmission line. These are usually used at less than 11 kilovolt voltages. Okay, they are used whenever there is a dead end in the transmission line or there is a sharp turn in the transmission line. Now to use it for higher voltages, we use a modified version which is called as strain type of insulator. It is similar to suspension type, but here the discs are arranged in horizontal manner instead of the vertical manner. So this is called a strain type of insulator. It is an extension of the shackle type of insulator but for higher voltage. So this will be used above 11 kV. Okay, this is called as jumper. So this will also be used where your transmission line encounters a dead end or a sharp turn to avoid increasing the strain or the stress in the transmission line. Now we saw that suspension and the strain type of insulators are manufactured via different discs. So how do we decide how many discs are there to be used in the particular insulator? How many discs you should use? So the generally accepted criteria is that number of discs will be based on line voltage. Okay. Now this is suspension type and strain type. Suppose line voltage is 66 kV. Then in suspension type we use 5 discs, in strain type we use 6 discs. If it is 132 kV, we use 9 discs and 10 discs. If it is 220 kV, we use 13 to 15 discs, but in strain type we use 14 to 16 discs. In 400 kV we use here 20 to 25 discs, here 23 to 26. And for 765 kV, that is UHV line, we will use here 35 discs and here 36. So usually in strain type of insulator, we will use more disc as compared to your suspension type of insulator. Now these two terms are associated when we talk about insulator. One is called as flashover, other is called as puncture. Now suppose this is my insulator which is connected to the tower cross arm, and here we have a transmission line. Now suppose what happens is that due to high voltage, electric field will be high, the air around this ionizes. So if air around this ionizes, the air around this will become conducting, due to which current can flow from the transmission line to the tower. If current can flow like this is called as insulator flashover, because a flash or an arc will be formed around the insulator and the current will conduct from the transmission line to the ground. The other term is called as puncture. Puncture is at a more higher voltage. So V puncture is greater than flashover. If voltage is very high, then insulator is basically nothing but a dielectric. A dielectric is nothing but it consists of dipole. So if it will break down, then current will directly flow through the insulator. That is called as your insulator puncture. Okay, puncture is when insulator breaks down and allows the flow of current, and flashover is when the air around the insulator breaks down and allows the flow of current through the arc or the flash. That is called as insulator flashover. In any case, we will encounter the line to ground fault, as the current will flow from the transmission line to the ground through the tower. Okay, that will be called as line to ground fault. Now let us understand, if we are using multiple discs, whether there will be uniform voltage distribution or the voltage will be distributed non-uniformly, because if I know how the voltage is distributed, then only I can identify how many discs do I require for any particular type of insulator. Okay. So here there are two type of capacitances that are defined. One is called as CM, that is mutual capacitance. Other is called as CS, that is shunt capacitance. This is shunt, this is mutual. Okay, these two type of capacitances are defined. Now why mutual and shunt? Between two discs, if two discs acts as a plate, there will be a capacitance between them, that will be called as CM. And since this disc and the tower can also act as a plate, there will be shunt capacitance. Okay, so these two type of capacitance can be defined based on the two type of possibilities in which the capacitance can be formed. Now, since we have three discs here, so there will be one CS also here, 3 CM and 3 CS. The voltage of this line with respect to tower will be V phase, because voltage to ground is your phase voltage. Since this shaded here indicates that this is grounded, because the tower is your grounded. So what is the voltage across this CS? It will be V phase. Okay, because it is connected between the line and the ground, so it will have phase voltage across it. So its voltage is always fixed, it will always be equal to your phase voltage. So there is no point in using this capacitor or representing this capacitor in the circuit, because its voltage will not change, it will always be fixed equal to V phase. So we can remove this capacitor here. Now we have assumed current something like this. In this capacitor we have I3, I2 and I1. Here current is I1 dash, I2 dash. So if we apply KCL, I3 will be equal to I2 plus I2 dash, I2 will be equal to I1 plus I1 dash. Now suppose we apply KCL at node 1. I2 is equal to I1 plus I2 dash, I1 dash. Now first of all, current I2 is flowing in this capacitor CM, which has a voltage across V2. Now current in any capacitor is V by XC, which means J omega CV. So I2 will be J omega CM V2. I1 is in this capacitor, J omega CM V1. and I1 dash is in this capacitor. Here the voltage of this capacitor is V1, here it is 0. So this capacitor also has the voltage V1, j omega Cs V1. So we can write V2 is equal to V1 plus Cs by Cm into V1. Now what we do is V2 is equal to V1 1 plus Cs by Cm. I define this term C shunt by C mutual as M. So V2 will be equal to V1 into 1 plus M. This is my first equation. Now if we apply KCL at the second node, it will be, so I3 will be equal to I2 plus I2 dash. Okay. Now I3 is the current in this capacitor, in this one. So its current will be j omega Cm into V3. I2 is in this, j omega Cm V2. I2 dash is in this. So the voltage of this capacitor will be, this voltage is V1 plus V2, voltage with respect to ground, and this voltage is 0. So capacitor voltage is V1 plus V2. So I3 is j omega Cm into V3. I2 is j omega Cm into V2. I2 dash is j omega Cs V1 plus V2. So V3 will be V2 plus Cs by Cm V1 plus V2. Now V2 can be written as V1 into 1 plus M. Cs by Cm is M. Okay. Now if we simplify this, we will get V3 is equal to V1 M square plus 3M plus 1. So now we have expressed all the voltages in terms of V1. The sum of this voltage will be equal to the conductor voltage. Will be equal to conductor voltage, that is V phase. This is my third equation. And if we express all in terms of V1, it will be 1 plus M plus 1 plus M square plus 3M plus 1 V phase, or V1 will be equal to V phase divided by M square plus 4M plus 3. So this way we can calculate V1 and then we can calculate rest of the voltages. Now we know this factor of M will be greater than 0. So here V2 will be greater than V1 because this factor is greater than 1, and V3 will be greater than V2. Okay, because V3 was V2 plus M into V1 plus V2. So it is always greater than V2. So we see as we move towards the conductor, the voltage increases. So the insulator disc near to the conductor is overstressed and the insulator disc away from the conductor is under stress. That is, the voltage across the insulator disc nearest to the conductor will always be higher. So this non-uniformity in the voltage is always undesirable. Why? Because suppose I buy a dielectric or an insulator with a dielectric strength 20 kV, but the voltage across the insulator which is farther away from the conductor is 10 kV or 5 kV, then my capacity is being wasted. I want all the voltages to be equal and should have the minimum value so that voltage rating reduces. Okay, or we want each insulator disc to share the maximum voltage so that number of discs can be minimized. If we are using 20 kV disc, we want each disc to support 20 kV so that we require lesser number of discs as compared to the non-uniform distribution. So we want every voltage should be equal to this V3 because this is the maximum among the voltage. If every disc share V3 amount of voltage, then the number of discs required will be lesser as compared to non-uniform distribution. So this non-uniformity is expressed in terms of string efficiency. What is string efficiency? Total string voltage which is equal to V phase divided by number of disks into V3, or the maximum voltage across any disk, which will always be the bottommost disk. So here we have V1 into m square plus 4m plus 3 divided by 3 into m square plus 3m plus 1. So if you see, string efficiency is entirely dependent on the value of m, and it does not depend on the value of voltage. Okay, so that is the beauty of this string efficiency. No matter whatever voltage you are using, string efficiency will always be dependent on the number of disks that you are using and what is the ratio of shunt to the mutual capacitance. That will define your string efficiency. So even if you increase the conductor voltage, it will not affect your string efficiency. Okay. Now what happens in case of strain type insulator? As we saw, there the disks were laid horizontally. And in case of horizontal, as you use more disk, the disk which is at the last will have the highest distance from the tower. And as the distance from the tower increases, the capacitance reduces. Which capacitance? Cs, because this was the capacitance between the disk and the tower. So this Cs reduces. So M, which is Cs by Cm, also reduces. If M reduces, the non-uniformity in the voltage will go down, because V2 was V1 into 1 plus M. So if M goes down, V2 becomes almost equal to V1. So if you want to reduce the non-uniformity in the voltage, you need to reduce the M, and that gets automatically reduced in case of strain insulator as the distance of the disk from the tower cross arm increases. So strain type insulators will have higher efficiency as compared to your suspension type of insulators. Okay. So this string efficiency is a critical criteria in determining how many number of disks are to be used, and we want the voltage distribution to be uniform, so the string efficiency should be as high as possible. Now how to improve the string efficiency? As we saw, non-uniformity can be reduced if the value of M is reduced. M is directly proportional to your shunt capacitance, which is equal to epsilon A by D. So if you increase D, this Cs will reduce, so M will also go down. Okay. How to increase the distance? We have to increase the distance of the disk from the tower. Now distance of the disk from the tower will depend on length of this cross arm. So if you increase the cross arm length of the tower, then the distance of the disk from the tower will increase, due to which M will reduce. Now, but that will require changing in the tower construction, which is uneconomical. Whenever we want to make any changes to the tower construction, it involves a lot of cost, so we cannot implement that. That is why we cannot reduce the M value. This method is impractical. We have to resort to other methods to improve the string efficiency. Okay, so this method is uneconomical. Next method is called as insulator grading. We just now saw that each disk has the same mutual capacitance, which is equal to Cm. But now if we manufacture different disks having different capacitance C1, C2 and C3, then we already know that the current in these disks were different. Now voltage will be equal to current into impedance. If current as well as impedances are different in each disk, then we can maintain the voltage constant. We can figure out the way in which the capacitances are so designed such that the product of current and the impedance remains same across all disks. Okay. So now if we again apply KCL, I2 will be equal to I1 plus I1 dash. Here I am assuming 100% string efficiency, so V1 equal to V2 equal to V3 equal to V. So I2 will be j omega C2V, I1 will be j omega C1V, I1 dash will be j omega Cs into V. Okay. So here C2 will be equal to C1 plus CS. Okay, or C1 1 plus CS by C1. C1 1 plus M, if we define M as CS upon C1. And if we apply KCL at the other node, it will be I3 will be equal to I2 plus I2 dash. I3 will be equal to j omega C3V. I2 will be j omega C2V. I2 dash will be j omega CS into V plus V. So C3 will be equal to C2 plus 2CS, or we can say C1 plus 3CS. Okay, and C2 is equal to C1 plus CS. So here we will need every disk having a different capacitance, but manufacturing will be difficult. Why? Because manufacturing is a batch process. We manufacture multiple disks having the same characteristics at the same time. If we wish to manufacture each disk having a different capacitance, that would involve a lot of cost, as you have to manufacture each disk separately. Okay, so that is why this method is also not practically used. Then the question comes to mind, if every method is not practically used, then what is the method that will be used practically? That method is called as static shielding or guard wire. Here what we do is, we know the non-uniformity is due to this CS, or the current going into this CS capacitance. So we have to cancel out this current, which is I1 dash and I2 dash. What we do is, we connect capacitances between the insulator or the metal link and the transmission line. These are called as guard wire or the static shielding. And now if we apply KCL at the node 1, I2 will be equal to I2 plus Ix. These are incoming current, will be equal to I1 plus I1 dash. Now if you want voltage across each disk to be same, V1 equal to V2 equal to V3, then current should also be same, that is I1 must be equal to I2, which implies Ix will be equal to I1 dash. Now I1 dash will be j omega Cs into V, and Ix will be capacitance X. The voltage across capacitance X is how much? 2V. So it will be j omega Cx into 2V. So Cx will be equal to Cs upon 2. Okay. Similarly, we apply KCL at the other node. We will get I3 plus Iy is equal to I2 dash plus I2. Again, if you want voltage to be same, you want the currents to be same. So Iy will be equal to I2 dash. Current in capacitance Y, the voltage across this capacitance will be equal to V. So j omega Cy into V, whereas voltage across this I2 dash will be equal to 2V, j omega Cs into 2V. So Cy will be equal to 2V. So by this method we calculate the capacitance of the shield wire or the guard wire. But if you have the large number of disks, let us say 35 or 36 disks, then we do not use guard wire at each and every metal link. We will use at the last few links so that non-uniformity can be minimized, if not reduced to 0. If you even cannot reduce it to 0, you want to minimize the non-uniformity so that string efficiency can be increased. So let us summarize what we have covered in this lecture. We first saw different type of insulators, which were pin type insulator, suspension type, strain type and shackle type. Then we saw the number of disks that are required in suspension type and your strain type of insulator. Then we saw what is insulator, flashover and puncture. Then we saw how is the voltage distributed? We saw V2 is equal to V1 into 1 plus M, and V3 is equal to V1 M square plus 3M plus 1, and V phase will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. And the last we saw how to increase the string efficiency by reducing M, which was impractical, by using three capacitances such that C2 is equal to C1 plus CS, C3 is equal to C1 plus 3CS. This was also impractical, and by using guard wire in which Cx was equal to C by 2 and Cy was equal to 2C. This method we generally use. In the next lecture we will see the problems based on underground cable and your overhead line insulators that we will cover.
So my friend, if you want to join Unacademy, if you liked the lecture, if you like the content that you have just watched, and you have decided that Unacademy is the right place for you, and you want to learn with me, you want to learn from me, then don't hesitate, because that is where we are conducting free classes every day that will boost your GATE rank. So if you decide to take subscription, click on GATE and ESE, click on get subscription. After this, you can choose the plan that you want to opt for. The final year and dropper can take 1 year plan. Second and the third year can take 2 year plan. But don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. This will give you 10% off, as well as it will bring you under my guidance. And as you can see, the prices are really affordable, my friend. It is much less than any other institute can offer you. And that is why I keep repeating, Unacademy is not an academy. It is a revolution. It is a feeling. You can make the payment by credit, debit card, EMI, net banking. Also, EMI is available on debit card, but for HDFC debit card and Bajaj Finserv debit card. So if you are from a weak financial background, you can pay the amount in installments, but only use the code Ankit ESE. And my friend, these are some videos where I have told how to study, how to get the best rank in GATE, and these videos will really help you in cracking GATE. So make sure that you watch each and every one of them. And my friend, these are our other channels, like for mechanical we have, for civil also we have, for computer science we have for SSC, JEE, all branches, electrical, mechanical, civil. And on this channel we have the previous year question video solution, that too free of cost. And many more channels will be coming very soon for you guys. So be a part of our YouTube family, and you can take the benefit of all the free content that we are bringing. And my friend, this is my Telegram channel where you will find the notes of each and every lecture that I take. And this is my Unacademy profile, which you can follow to watch my content for free on Unacademy, because there also I am taking regular free classes. So if you can't afford to join Unacademy, then keep associated with us, keep sharing the content that we are providing, and work towards making this YouTube family bigger and better. We'll keep bringing more and more content for you, and the only fees that you have to pay, my friend, is that you have to work hard and you have to share and like each and every video that we are uploading. So that way this family gets bigger. Even the student in a rural area can take the benefit of the free initiatives that we have started. And my friend, you also get the best rank in GATE without having to stress about how to pay. So if you can't be paying or you can't afford to pay, then make sure that you are building this YouTube family, a bigger and a better YouTube family, the biggest and the best community of all electrical engineers. So that is all from my side. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you.